All right, Raul, thank you. Well, earlier this week on our Ask the Mom segment, the question of breastfeeding and whether a mom should do it in public, it came up. The discussion moved on to social media sites with many of our Fox 5 friends upset. So, Robin Kaplan, she's a lactation consultant and owner of the San Diego Breastfeeding Center. Also, Rachel Rainbolt, she's from Ohana Wellness. They reached out to us to continue this conversation about breastfeeding in public. Ladies, we want to welcome both of you. Thank you for reaching out to us and coming here today. Before we get to the information, there's a lot. Out of fairness, I just want to put this out because I know that we got blasted from emails and Twitters and whatnot about what was said, that 3 women, our moms that come in here, shared their personal opinion about breastfeeding in public. Out of fairness, because the question was brought up that Fox, we do one side, this side, that side. We've done many segments because I was a breastfeeding mama that did it with a hooter hider, not a hooter hider for a year, and have done that on this show about the laws and supporting moms breastfeeding in public. So we've done that before, but we're always open to having 2 sides. That's why we invited you to come on to talk about this today, because there is still some question. It's a hot topic about breastfeeding in public. So we appreciate you being here. I went back and I watched the segment. Robin, I don't think the question was about breastfeeding your child. It was, where do you do it in public and how long do you do it? So there's laws that you are here to talk about that protect women from doing that. Go ahead.
Absolutely. So there is a breastfeeding law in California, and I brought my little card from the San Diego County Breastfeeding Coalition just so I could state the law correctly. But what it says is that a mother may breastfeed her child in any location, public or private, where the mother and child are authorized to be present. And I think the issue with it yesterday, or a couple days ago, was that they brought up women being covered up, and actually the law does not state that a woman has to be covered up. It's her decision how she wants to breastfeed her baby and where, and we just want to make sure that we bring awareness to that there is no actual status in here that says that a woman has to be covered up.
Do you see where some people may be uncomfortable that a woman's breast, that, I mean, we cover it up when we go to the beach and we don't show it, but where it may be uncomfortable, where people are like, I don't know if I want to see that? Do you see what their point was?
Well, I think the problem is that it creates a culture in which there's no way for moms to win, no matter what their personal goals may be. We can't say breastfeeding is the normal, healthy way to feed a baby, and it's inappropriate and shameful. Because when the rubber hits the road, if a baby's hungry, that mom needs to feel accepted and supported in feeding that baby, period, without stipulation.
Breastfeeding is hard enough. We don't need to make more obstacles.
Exactly, and I think the issue is also that when comments come out that say like a woman should be covering up or a woman should use discretion, pretty much every mom I know uses discretion when she's in public because she doesn't want to draw attention to herself that her baby wants to feed at that point. But the problem is that when we make comments like a woman should cover up or use discretion, what it does is it opens the door to allow for harassment and shame of the situation that she's breastfeeding in public. And just to mention, we had a really bad nursing in public harassment case in Chula Vista actually about a month ago, where a woman was breastfeeding her son and waiting for traffic court, and she was harassed by a bailiff who said pretty much the same thing that the women said.
She was, her breast was exposed doing it, or no? She was just breastfeeding.
She was just breastfeeding, and she was told that it was unacceptable and illegal to breastfeed in public by a law enforcement official. Now, luckily, this whole situation was actually resolved very positively. We worked with the sheriff's department. They instated a training actually last week about letting their staff know what the law is that I just stated. But the issue is that if a law enforcement agent doesn't know what the law is, how do the rest of us in regular public know? If we don't know what the law is, then it opens this door for harassment. And the issue with harassment is that with any type of discrimination, if a woman feels harassed or afraid of nursing in public, then she's not going to do it, which means that she's going to stay at home, which means that there's a good chance she's not going to meet her personal breastfeeding goals, which is horrible because there really isn't, it's not a judgment call for anyone except for the mom and baby to meet their goals, and we should be supporting them, not judging in any way.
Well, breastfeeding in public helps to normalize breastfeeding, so the more you see it, the more mundane and boring and uneventful it becomes.
I was going to ask, what's with this? I mean, this is where a baby milk is created. This is
Yeah,
where
it's a pretty boring, mundane system that's been around for millions of years. So really, it's only in relatively
Bottles
recent
have only been around for a very short period of time.
So what would your suggestion be right now to any mamas that are watching, whatever side that you're on, what would your suggestion be, our takeaway from this?
Well, I think one, we need to stop judging one another. Where a woman breastfeeds, how long she breastfeeds for, when she breastfeeds, is up to essentially her baby and herself to decide. And if a baby needs to eat, then the baby needs to eat, and the baby needs to eat there.
And know that the law supports you. The AAP and the WHO code both support you. They both support a duration of breastfeeding beyond infancy. For the WHO, they recommend 2 years or beyond. For the AAP, they recommend at least 12 months with continued breastfeeding for as long as mutually desired by mother and baby.
So if mom wants to breastfeed at 3 or 4 years old in public?
The worldwide average age of self-weaning is between 2 and 7. So the benefits continue far beyond infancy.
Till 7?
From 2 to 7 is the worldwide average age of self-weaning. So that includes everywhere in the world.
Do you understand where that could maybe a little difficult? I mean, I have a son myself.
Sure.
Where, I mean, maybe it's just not something that the society
And that's up to you to decide.
Exactly.
The most important part is that it's up to each mother and baby to decide for themselves when the right time to allow that weaning process to unfold is.
Exactly.
Up to the mama.
Up to the mom and the baby.
And up to society to support them.
Exactly.
Well, and there are laws that prove that.
And the laws that protect them. Well, ladies, we appreciate you being here. I know this is a hot topic. I know there's probably people at home that are bouncing off their couch right now on both sides. So we appreciate you being here. By the way, there are a lot of organizations that help with that, including Robin. So you can get much more information on the laws if you need support on all that. You can go to fox5sandiego.com. You can click the Scene On tab. I'll tell you, when I was feeding my son, many times I was at the mall, he needed to eat. And I remember the looks that I used to get from people. One mom walked by and she was like, "Good job, good for you." And some other people walked by going, "I can't believe she's doing that in public." But you know what? My son needed to eat.
Exactly.
So we appreciate you being here. Thank you for being here, ladies.
Thank you for having
Anytime,
us.
2 sides to every story. We'll do it right here. Okay.